First things first, if you ever wondered why Brienne of Tarth seems like she could swing a sword straight through a castle door, there's actually a blood reason for that. Her strength, size, and stubborn honour aren't random. They come straight from one of Westeros' greatest knights, Sir Duncan the Tall. And thanks to HBO's upcoming A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, we might finally see how that connection plays out on screen. The new series takes us back a century before Game of Thrones, following Sir Duncan, played by Peter Claffey, and his young squire, Egg, before the world knew him as King Aegon V Targaryen. The story centres on their travels and tournaments, mostly from the view of the small folk rather than kings, but it's also the era that quietly set the stage for Westeros as we know it. Through Dunk's bond with the Targaryens, we finally get the missing link between him and Brienne of Tarth, one of his proudest descendants. George R.R. Martin himself confirmed this years ago. At Balticum 2016, he told fans that Brienne was indeed descended from Sir Duncan. Fans had guessed it long before that, and for good reason. Both share a freakish height, unmatched skill with a blade, and the same tragic loneliness that comes from not fitting into the world they're fighting for. Martin even dropped subtle hints, like Brienne's family owning a shield painted with Dunk's original arms, and both being described as thick as a castle wall. If you've read the Dunk and Egg novellas, you'd also notice how Dunk and Egg's dynamic mirrors Brienne and Podrick's. History, it seems, repeats with a sword in hand. But here's the kicker. Brienne doesn't know any of this in the show. She never learns that she carries Dunk's bloodline through House Tarth, though the upcoming Winds of Winter might change that. The mystery of how they're connected, however, is still up for debate. Martin once said it would be revealed in time, but didn't say where. In a future Dunk and Egg story, or maybe right here in the new series. One popular theory suggests Dunk might have had a secret relationship with King Aegon's sister, Rhae Targaryen. Rhae did have children, though the father was never named. If she married a Tarth, her child could have been passed off as legitimate, quietly merging the bloodlines. Another idea claims Brienne's mother was the bastard daughter of Dunk and Rhae, who later married Lord Selwyn Tarth. Either way, the Tarth line likely owes its size and stubbornness to Dunk. And then, there's the other possible descendant, Hodor. Fans point to The She-Wolves of Winterfell, an unreleased Dunk and Egg novella that takes the pair to Winterfell. Around that time, Old Nan, Hodor's great-grandmother, would have been a young woman. Bran later sees a vision of a woman kissing a knight as tall as Hodor, and Old Nan's endless Duncan stories start to sound a little personal. Maybe she wasn't telling tales, maybe she was reminiscing. If A Knight of the